and good morning. Happy game day, Steeler Nation, and to all NFL fans. So you're watching this edition here of the Meta Steel podcast, which is show bliss for today. I am Charles Prodigy Richey, and the Steelers are celebrating 90 years as an organization as they look to not only have a return to the playoffs and for Kenny Pickett in his first playoff appearance, but finally can they snap a 7-year playoff win win drought? They have been winless last since being the Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional round back in the 2016 season. There will be a lot of questions answered. A lot of excitement has been swelling around this group right now as we look at it. So far, Kate Pickett has been having a, great off season, to say the least. Throughout, when we look at it, this preseason, Kenny Pickett posted a perfect QB rating throughout three preseason games, and where he went 13 of 15 for 199 yards, two touchdowns, zero interceptions. Uh, and there's about the ceilings and expectations been set a little bit higher this year for him. The bigger question is right now, can he take care of controlling ball with the interceptions? We'll get into that in just a little bit more. But other than that, let's go ahead and recap a few other things too. I mean, right now, uh, I am Charles Prodigy Richie. Once again, you can guys follow me on my Twitter X at MassSteelCJR and on Instagram at MassSteelNation. Let's go ahead and do a little brief recap of what happened earlier in the week with the 53-man roster. Now, as announced on Labor Day, the captains for this year will be, for the first time, Kenny Pickett, followed by defensive tackle Cam Hayward, strong safety Miles Kilbrew, and last but not least, outside linebacker TJ Watt. Those will be your official team captains for the team. And Coach Tomlin on Pickett saying him being voted as the offensive line captain by his teammates. He says speaks to his level of improvement and leadership in year number two. Now, remember back not even going on a couple of weeks ago, a week and a half actually, August 30th. One of the biggest question marks, though, too, when we look at this team on the offensive line, it just did not seem like it was a match, a marriage that was a match made in heaven with this team, no disrespected. But you look at a guy like Kendrick Green, who they drafted back in the 2021 draft, when you look at it, um, who's been struggling. They've been trying to find their replacement center since Marquise Pouncey retired following the 2021 season. He retired in 2001, shortly after they lost to the Cleveland Browns. Remember Kendrick Green? He was a third round overall pick, 87th back in the draft. So what did they do? A guy who was drafted in the third round started games as a rookie, but he was moved there in 2022. Unfortunately, he did not play any games as a starter in 2022. So what ended up happening, he got traded to the Texans for a 2025 sixth round pick. And then also too, Zach Gentry, who entered his fifth season. He's only played 4 seasons with the Steelers right now. He became expandable with the development of rookie Darnell Washington, the team's third round draft choice. So, I mean, that was another one too. I'm a little disappointed because I really feel like Zach Gentry was catching a little bit of steam, to tell you the truth. When you look at it, I mean, to be honest with you, I think Gentry was becoming a nice complementary piece to Freiermuth, but now you got a guy like Darnell Washington right there. I mean, who's a real big, solid piece for this team right here. When you think about everything, I mean, Darnell Washington, once again, he was drafted 93rd overall out of Georgia. Great combine grade, if you think about it too. This guy right here, he's got definitely sees possibly some red zone targets, I would imagine, in his future. I mean, this guy is a pretty big target from what I understand. It's 6'7", 270 pounds. I mean, 6'7" right there. I mean, that is huge right there to have a guy like this at the tight end position. And I mean, look at it right there. I mean, tight ends still can't put a premium on how just as valuable they are. I mean, Miller was 6'5", so he's still slightly 2 inches taller. I'm not sure who the tallest one will have been as far as like receiver, like just pass catchers in general. I mean, maybe the only ones that came close are Plaxico and Heath were both listed at 6'5". But I gotta be honest, with you, I'm really excited about this team, liking their chances. As you can see, I got my Kenny Pickett jersey on for this season. Be definitely wearing it throughout most games, and definitely like to hear your thoughts where you guys will be watching the game. Feel free to share where you're gonna be watching from. I hope most are going to the game today for this event. As the Pittsburgh Steelers too, fortunately though too, they'll be having their first home opener since 2014. And it was last since the Cleveland Browns. And so far, the weather right now, we're game time temperature for today, we're looking a little bit of a cloudiness at 72 degrees, but high in the upper 70s and lows in the 60s for today's game. Just give everybody an idea. Still got about another week of summer after this, so we'll see. But I mean, this is gonna be an interesting matchup though too. And right now, don't forget the last time the Steelers opened up their season versus San Francisco 49ers at home, you had to go back as far as 2015. And Pittsburgh Steelers, in that regard too, they smashed the 49ers, and where they finished up that season, uh, getting to the playoffs as a wild card after coming out from the previous year winning the division. They took care of the 49ers in dominating fashion, 43 to 18 right there. And then, of course, the following week, you saw Ben Roethlisberger, he'd be out with an injury for multiple weeks, uh, nearly for an entire month, basically. But anyway, that team did end up going, finishing out the season 10-6, winning a playoff game. Unfortunately, coming up short, slightly to the Denver Broncos. And when we look at it too, I mean, the Steelers 49ers too, this is a pretty interesting like rivalry too, if you think about it. I mean, of course, the San Francisco 49ers right now, they lead the all-time rivalry by about 2 games right now as they're 12 and 10. Never met in the playoffs, by the way. Um, but here's some other like interesting like home openers versus the San Francisco 49ers too. Let's take a look at some more notable ones too. 2007, 16 years ago, and Mike Tomlin's very first year as a head coach took care of the San Francisco 49ers in dominating fashion, defeating them 37-16 in that game right there. At that point in time, you had Alex Smith as their quarterback for the 49ers going up against Big Ben Roethlisberger. Really not much of a contest. Willie Parker uh, was pretty much stole the show in that game. Of course, 133 yards rushing off of 24 attempts. But Steelers 49ers definitely had a little bit of an interesting rivalry, to say the least. Pair of teams who arguably should have met in the Super Bowl, maybe, or dream Super Bowl scenario many times, just passing that cross right. But anyway, back to the roster recap right now. Norwood, Trey Norwood, who started 6 games the past 2 seasons, he was cut in favor of Elijah Bradley, who could also play nickelback. The other cuts following the conclusion after preseason, less than a week after, you had quarterbacks Luke Barku uh, and Chris Wilcox. You had nose tackle Brendan uh, Hoko, defense tackle Josh Marshall, inside linebacker Nick Kwiatkowski, And outside linebackers, Dave Perales and Quincy Roche. Center and guard, Ryan McCullum. Running backs, Greg Bell and Xavier Valde. Tight end, Riley Williams. Receivers, Des Fitzpatrick and Jordan Bird. And safety, Trenton Thompson. Those are the cuts right there. Now, let's go ahead and get into some of the features of today's game right here. And as Mr. Matthews pointed out on Thursday, this will mark the first. This will mark the fifth matchup over the last 20 years uh, between the Defensive Player of the Year winners Nick Bosa and T.J. Watt from the previous seasons. The reigning Defensive Player of the Year lost the previous four matchups as we look at it going to this game. So basically, right here, we look at, and for the Defensive Player of the Years right here. So basically, there was like this would be the fifth matchup. The very first matchup within these five, she was referring to. Look at 2011 going to the 2012 season. Terrell Suggs matched up with Troy Polamalu. Troy Polamalu and Suggs didn't meet until the second game of their two matchups in that season, where it was in Baltimore, and that was a game that Charlie Batch quarterback while Ben Roethlisberger was recovering. Uh, Steelers would knock them off 23-20. However, the Ravens did get the last laugh that season. They went on to win the Super Bowl run under Ray Lewis's final year, and it's still a very exciting quarterback, Joe Flacco, if you ask me. And of course, you look at the next matchup too. 2013, he featured defensive end J.J. Watt, who won it for 2012, going against Terrell Suggs on September 22nd. Baltimore Ravens would destroy them 30-9. And then back in 2018 in Soldier Field, an exciting game right here somewhat. It was in December 9th. Aaron Donald came into Soldier Field as defensive player of the year from 2017 against Khalil Mack. The Bears would defeat them 15-6. That was a Sunday night game. And then the last matchup, of course, was back in 2020 when Stephon Gilmore, who was 2019 Defensive Player of the Year for the Patriots, going up against Aaron Donald. That was back on December 10th. They will lose that game 24-3. So right now, we'll see if this could pay dividends right now. Would this be a good sign for the Steelers going into today's matchup? Nick Bosa right now, who is the current reigning Defensive Player of the Year for the 49ers right now. TJ Watt, who's last won it back in 2021. Definitely get your popcorn ready for this matchup, as Sarah Owens would say. But this is going to definitely be a nice heavyweight matchup right here. You look at both these guys' work ethics, nothing to take away or disappoint. And speaking of which, too, on Wednesday, is reported by ESPN's Adam Schefter, Nick Bosa has agreed to a 5-year, $170 million extension with the 49ers, including $122.5 million guaranteed by a wide margin. It will make him the highest paid defense player in history. Bosa becomes the third member of the 49ers to achieve Defense Player of the Year as he joins fellow 49er greats in for one season, cornerback Deion Sanders, and back in 1997, one-time Super Bowl champion, defense tackle Daniel Stubblefield. So congratulations to Nick Bosa as he comes into this matchup. I gotta say, I'm exciting. And speaking of contracts, real quickly too, you look at Joe Burrow, who just recently just got his money right here too. Big money deal right there for today's game. Uh, when you look at it, I mean, so Bengals, they'll be taking on the Cleveland Browns, and right now that's definitely been like a little trippy rivalry as its own right for the last few years. But anyway, Joe Burrow, who has been clearly a big difference maker for the Bengals franchise right now, as he signed a $275 million extension top 11 extension guarantees that the Bengals ever given out before this week come out to roughly 213 million. So basically, once again, the deal for Joe Burrow, which was announced on Thursday, reached an agreement with the Bengals on a 5-year, $275 million extension. It includes 219.01 guaranteed million. It makes him the highest paid player in NFL history. And I think that's pretty darn right too. I mean, when you look at who's done nothing but heights, but for right now, I'm not going to pull him over a guy like Patrick Mahomes just yet. I mean, fact of the matter is, he still did not finish off the Super Bowl. But at the same time, it's hard to argue, deny the special premier talent he brings to this game and to this franchise. But we'll get to that a little bit later on. Glad you're still with us right here on the Man Steel podcast here, this edition of Show Blitz right now. Let's go into some Fitz magic, if you will, right now. Minkah Fitzpatrick, who's now entering his fourth season as a Steelers free safety, who the Steelers traded away, uh, who traded for back in 2019, the day after uh, Ben Roethlisberger was announced for the season ending back in 2019. Got traded from the Miami Dolphins right there. He came to the Steelers along with a fourth round pick in 2021, seventh round pick. Steelers would send a first and fifth round pick in 2020, 2021, a sixth round pick uh right there. But the Steelers who I mean just made that. I mean, that was just a very game changing moment right there. And just glad to have him in this lineup right here. But one of the bigger things too, I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, ever since like the breakup of the Killer Bees not too long ago, I mean, you've been slowly seeing little by little, especially over the past 4 years now. I mean, you look at like how this character, the locker room, yeah, you had different players over the time come through. I mean, you look at the makeup of this team really starting to gel nicely. I'd say more progressively the last 2 years in particular. I mean, you look at the biggest thing too that Minkah Fitzpatrick and the equipment staff had arranged in the locker room. They got little red velvet ropes surrounding the Pittsburgh logo, trying to make a statement right there, like to try not to walk in the logo. And he was saying on this, I'm very big on the details. Fitzpatrick told ESPN, I think that's something as small as keep our logo clean. It's simple, but means a lot at the end of the day. Working one-on-one with equipment assistant Lou Bally, Fitzpatrick methodically worked through a series of catch drills with a tennis ball, hundreds of extra catches after a 2-hour practice. Every single day he first got the idea from wide receiver Deontay Johnson, worked with Bally on the tennis balls frequently 2021 to cure a bout of drops. Now it's part of Fitzpatrick's daily routine. Part of the process happens at the practice. Fitzpatrick takes a seat next to the quarterback, Kenny Pickett, in an extra office functioning as a makeshift computer lab. And that's a nice thing too. I mean, look at guys like Minkah Fitzpatrick and Kenny Pickett working together, like studying right there. I think this is going to be bode well for a guy like Kenny Pickett too. So it's like, I mean, of course, I mean, it's one thing when you're trying to study the game. For your offense corner, Matt Canada, who now enters his third year as the offense coordinator for this team. But then also too, to hear from a defensive perspective, like a defensive back and a guy like Minkah right here. Uh, Pickett was saying about Minkah, he's the quarterback of the defense. As he told ESPN, he really knows what's going on offensively, defensively. His instincts, I mean, he's the best in the game, and I don't even think it's close. It's good to have that guy on our team, and I get to learn from him. Very nice story, Brooke, by the way. Brooke Pryor, who highlighted a story on ESPN. She's one of the assigned members of the Pittsburgh Steelers for ESPN. Make sure to continue to follow Brooke Pryor and her content here on Twitter, X, you could follow Brooke Pryor on social media at BE Pryor. Very detailed savant when it comes to covering this team. Great job, Brooke. Now let's go ahead and get into the injury report real quick. For the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, so far the only guy who's listed as questionable going into today's game would be Larry Ogunjobi. He has been dealing with a foot injury. He's been limited all week. He is questionable for today's game. This is a guy who seemed to be feeling a lot more optimistic. Who the Steelers gave a nice extension, I believe, this year to keep around. I think he made a difference to help in the run game too. Got him within the top 10 after being dead last back in 2021. But he's really hoping for a big bounce back year and really make some great plays. Defensive tackle Cam Hayward, who's also one of the captains here. Uh, he was dealing with a stomach injury that was listed on Thursday. He was a full participant on Friday. Now, as for the 49ers, real quick, as we look at so far, the two guys that are listed as questionable right now. You got tight end George Kittle, who's been dealing with a groin injury. He's been limited all week. And then, of course, you got cornerback Travarius Ward, uh, who was dealing with a heel. He didn't practice on Thursday and was limited on Friday. He didn't finally pop up the injury report until Thursday. So there you have it right there. Steelers right now going to this game, home openers right now. Steelers were looking for their first home win since 3 years ago when they defeated the Denver Broncos. Of course, a lot of games since 2014 have been the second week of the season or later. They are 16-6 all time at Acrisure Stadium and formerly known as Heinz Field. Tail of the tape going to this game. The big key matchup, of course, we're going to be looking at is the quarterbacks in this game. Brock Purdy comes into this game going undefeated as a star in the regular season. He went 5-0 last year, filling in for an injured Jimmy Garoppolo, only to come up short in the NFC Championship to the Eagles. Okay, he's looking to continue his momentum, becoming the first rookie quarterback in NFL history for a game-winning touchdown in the final minute of the fourth quarter and back-to-back games, which include the Raiders and Ravens. So, what are going to be the keys to the game for this matchup? Key number one, though, too, and I'm gonna give credit to this one, Dale Lally and Matt Williams. They have a nice little podcast or a little feature on Steelers.com you can check out. They were mentioned, I'll agree with this one right here, is attacking the middle of the field. Now, remember, Pickett comes into this game having thrown 7 touchdowns, 9 receptions from last season. But again, when you look at the preseason he's had right here, I mean, it seems like he's kind of shook that off a little bit. He's got 2 touchdowns only, taking care of the ball very well. Perfect QB rate. Again, this is preseason, but I mean, pretty accurate with his throwing right here. And you look at too, I mean, his completion percentage throughout the preseason, 87%, whopping mile where he separates himself from guys like Trubisky at 69%, Mason Rudolph at 58, and then of course Tara Morgan, who did not make the team at 50%, which they combined for a team total of 66%. So taking care of the ball is definitely gonna be huge. When you gotta go up with guys like the 49ers strong safety, Talanoa Hufanga, who combined along with Tashawn Gibson for 9 interceptions right there. That's gonna be key right there too. And you look at this Talanoa right there, he seems to be like a Troy Polamalu protege, who has also played out of the University of USC going into this game right here as we look at it for this game. Yeah, so USC right there. So that's going to be key number one. Key number two, of course, controlling and stopping the run right now. Christian McCaffrey and the 49ers finish off the season on a 10-game winning streak. The only loss they had back in that time was the game shortly after they acquired him. But I mean, other than that, for right now, as we look at, I mean, Christian McCaffrey, he's definitely going to be interesting. He ran for 746 yards with the 49ers off 159 attempts, which tallied up for a total of 1,139 yards on the ground with 8 touchdowns, along with 1,880 scrimmage yards for the season with 13 touchdowns combined. Right there too. I mean, you gotta believe though too on the other side that uh, Najee Harris right now, and you look at it. I mean, Najee Harris. I mean, on the running game, he's dealt with a heel injury, barely had enough, and then you got Jalen Warren seems to be pushing him right now. When you look at this guy right here, Najee Harris, I think definitely needs to get back in form. But I'm going to tell you what, I mean, too, when you look at a guy like Najee Harris, who has yet to average 4 yards an attempt, I would also like to feel like the a big matchup on this trying to keep Christian McCaffrey at bay more in particular. You would have to think like guys like Montrevious Adams or guys like Cole Holcomb or Landon Robbins that could help stop that run right there. I mean, that's definitely be interesting right there. Remember, this guy can also catch too, so he's very athletic, as a lot of backs are these days. And then key number three right here, it's going to be the dynamic duel of the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinators, Matt Canada and Terrell Austin versus Kyle Shannon. Kyle Shannon has been an offensive wizard in the NFL. Meanwhile, Canada struggled immensely. He enters his third year as OC. Also, will need to find a way in particular for him to not just force turnovers on as a defense, but to generate enough pressures. Defense was ranked 30th with 108 pressures with which turned into 17.4%. So again, the keys for this game, three. I got three keys: attack the middle of the field, controlling and stopping the run, and Matt Canada and Terrell Austin versus the the guru here of offense play calling, Kyle Shanahan. Those would be my keys for today's game for that could hopefully turn into a Steelers win for today. Also, let's finish up a quick segment real quickly. We'll go into here late hits right now. Did Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs get exposed on Thursday Night Football while Travis Kelce or did Dan Campbell and the Lions earn their respect? I must say this. I'm gonna say that for the most part, Chiefs did get a little bit exposed, especially without Travis Kelce. Definitely the Lions, they made a huge statement. They continue to build up the momentum. What they've been doing for last year is they went 9-8 to finish out the season, despite going into that Packers game, knowing that their playoffs fate was already denied by the Seahawks winning in the late afternoon game. But anyway, I mean, when you look at it too, I mean, I would also argue this. Another guy too, who I think could have made a just as much as an arguable difference on here in this game would have been Chris Jones. The Chiefs did not get any sacks in that game or hardly enough pressures versus Detroit Lions. Now, NFL Network's James Palmer reported earlier on Thursday going to that game, there was a good chance that Jones was going to be in attendance for the Chiefs banner unveiling and be in attendance for the game. Chiefs organization teams didn't have any problem about that. But as for his explanation on attending the game Thursday, his comments were, I can't really talk about it, as he spoke on his contract holdout. Hopefully it gets worked out. It's always been my goal to be a Kansas City Chief for life. I've said that multiple times on social media platforms for interviews, and they know where my position's at. Hopefully we get something worked out for the long term. Now you look at it too, a guy like Chris Jones right here, he's trying to get in the neighborhood of Aaron Donald money right here, right now. Uh, and you look at it right now, he's going into his eighth season. I'm sorry, I'm not sure about Aaron Donald money, to be honest. Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, you look at this guy right here. He's only made an All Pro one time. That was the year they won the Super Bowl last season. Other than that, I mean, he's been a Super Bowl champion. I'm just not sure if I'm ready to put him up there just yet, but he definitely deserves to get paid. Either with the Chiefs or where he goes seek at. Because I tell you what, this is a guy who's definitely right now making his mark here. And you look at it right now. I mean, for I mean, the Chiefs right now, I mean, you got the highest paid defensive player right now in the league right now is Quentin Williams of the Jets. You got next up is Aaron Donald right there. And you look also too, a guy like Quentin Williams who's going into his fourth season with the Jets right there. Exciting year, hoping for not only a deep playoff aspiration, but super aspiration with their new quarterback and Aaron Rodgers. I tell you what, um, if I'm paying a guy like him, I'm not sure if I'm paying him the highest, but man, it's going to be hard pressed right there because you got Aaron Donald making it 95 million. I mean, Quinn Williams being paid at 96. He's currently the highest paid, but then you got Jeffrey Simmons too right now for the Titans at 94. And then you got Darren Payne of the Commanders at 90 million, Dexter Lawrence of the Giants. It is pretty hard pressed. The market is definitely a lot higher, but I'm not sure if I want to say Aaron Donald money just yet. I don't know. That's a tough call right there. But they need to figure something out though, because I definitely feel like the more he's going to be out, uh, their defense is going to be fine. But some crucial extra shots where you could stuff the run or get at their quarterback, that is huge. And let's go ahead and get some other storylines going circulating throughout this game right here as we look at it too. Some other stuff. Adam Schefter mentioned a few quick bullet points going to this game. The Chargers Seahawks have won four straight season openers. Bucks has lost five straight season openers. The NFL's longest active streak. The Arizona Cardinals ended last season on a seven-game losing streak, and Arizona hasn't lost since 2006. Meanwhile, the Packers too. That should be a nice game. I believe that's going to be one of the games of the week right here. So they've won eight straight against the Bears. Raiders have now won six straight versus Broncos, their longest win streak versus Denver since winning 14 straight from 1965, 1971. And Dak Prescott has won 10 straight starts versus Giants. So we're going to see about right there. That's going to be something special. Uh, Also, too, Jonathan Taylor, who is now is on the physical unable to perform list for week four due to an ankle injury, is going to pass his physical and he could pass it today per source. Uh, Taylor's planning to be ready to be as early as week five when he is eligible to come off the pup list. And when he is eligible to come off, that game in particular that he'll be available for, as it looks like, which will be versus the Tennessee Titans here going into that game. But real quick, I just want to just end this pregame real quick here with the Kansas City Chiefs in particular. Also, too, did Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs get exposed without Travis Kelce? I mean, like I said, I just made a strong case for like a guy like Chris Jones, but I mean, if you look about it too, I mean, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs right now, I mean, let's think about this for a second. Keep this in perspective. Of Patrick Mahomes' 194 regular season touchdowns, he had about at least for Travis Kelce, he caught about 46 of those touchdown passes, which is the highest in Patrick Mahomes' career. Of course, number two, you got Tyreek Hill right there. And to be honest with you, too, when you look back at that game right there, I mean, back in there, I mean, versus the Lions on Thursday night, I did not see the the Lions winning that game. I mean, I expected the Chiefs to take care of business. Lions are an exciting team, but just wasn't ready to go there yet versus Chiefs. But then again, when you looked at uh, Travis Kelce, who was hurt and was with his knee injury, I mean, it's just definitely opened things up a lot more. And I think, the Chiefs have definitely you saw Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's great. Uh thrower on the run. But I mean, at the same time, too, when you start doing a lot of these acrobatic throws or making all these moves, I think at some point in time it's going to catch up to you, especially when you're out your top security blanket. And the guy who definitely got a lot of heat in this game was Kadarius Toney, who had one of the most targets, 5 targets in that game. He dropped 4 in that game, and many which slipped through his hands. I believe one of them was turned into a pick six. Receiving did not have to show for it. When you look at the end of the day, too, when you had 16 drop passes as opposed to 10 by the Lions, that was a big story that told the game. So I'm gonna say yes to a point, but I'll also add in not having a Chris Jones in that lineup was also just as detrimental to that team. So now let's go ahead and go into some week one predictions right now. Steelers 49ers. Give me the Steelers for this game. We're going to go around the league real quickly. We also got the Bears and Packers today. This game is going to be at Soldier Field. This will be on Fox right here. Bears looking to get a lot of excitement right now as Justin Fields gets in with his new weapon, DJ Moore, right now, who's looking to like turn some heads with this Bears offense and help take it to the next level. The only question is right now, can Justin Fields continue to get better as a passer right now in the passing game? I mean, Justin Fields very exciting with his running. He's been doing stuff that we haven't seen as a running quarterback since Lamar Jackson and Michael Vick. And we look at basically, I mean, his yards per attempt going into this game, 7.1 yards. That was a little bit of improvement from last year. He had 17 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, so he wasn't that bad last year. But his record as a starter, 3-12 with only 2,242 yards right there, and it's definitely been taking a lot more hits. Got sacked 55 times. He got sacked in his rookie year for 36 times, so that is going to definitely be problematic right there. So for Bears and Packers, I'm gonna go ahead and give the home team a favor in this one. I'm gonna go with the Bears. Give me the Bears in this game. Also, yeah, noon game here. Panthers visiting the Atlanta Falcons. As we will see this game, Falcons will be hosting this game versus the Panthers. Give me the Carolina Panthers in this game. Browns Bengals for the opener. Give me the Bengals. Colts and Jaguars. Give me the Jaguars. Give me the also too for the Bucks and Vikings. Give me the Vikings to take care of business versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then you got the Saints versus the Titans right here. This will be an interesting match right here. The Saints will be at home versus Tennessee. I'm gonna go with the New Orleans Saints. Washington Commanders versus Arizona Cardinals. Slam dunk. Give me the Washington Commanders in this one. Ravens. Give me the Ravens over the Texans. Give me also too the I'm gonna go with an upset here. I'm gonna go with the Raiders over the Broncos. Sean Payton, who's coming back, returning from the sideline for the first time in 2 years. Looking to see what he does right now. Going with his second team and a lot of pressure being put on Russell Wilson. So give me the Raiders over the Broncos. That's gonna be a 325 game. Then you got the Eagles and Patriots in New England. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles win that game. Then you also got the Miami Dolphins visiting the LA Chargers at SoFi Stadium. I'm going to go ahead and go call an upset on this one. Give me the Miami Dolphins to win that game. And then you got the LA Rams versus Seattle Seahawks, which will be one of the late afternoon games. Give me the Seattle Seahawks. And then you got the Cowboys visiting the Giants at East Rutherford Stadium. Give me the Giants for that one. Then last but not least, the Monday night game. Aaron Rodgers' debut in the Meadowlands right there, hosting the Buffalo Bills. Give me the Jets, Jets. And I hope you enjoyed this edition here of Show Blitz here with Charles Prodigy Richey as we get ready for kickoff for the 2023 NFL season. Once again, you can follow my Twitter X contact at MassSteelCGR and on Instagram at MassSteelNation. As I always leave everybody, don't be trolling, be rolling. Here goes Steelers, here we go. I got it.
You know, this has been our story all year, hasn't it been? 60 minutes. It's never going to be pretty. Throw style points out the window, but these guys will fight to the end. And I take my hat off to you, and I congratulate every last one of you.
Thank you for watching the Mass Steel podcast with your host, Charles Prodigy Richey, here on YouTube. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button. And for all the latest Mass Steel podcast episodes, feel free to download them on Mixcloud, Anchor.fm, and SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcasts.